when it comes to the game Mafia Old Country, I'm going to be honest and say I found it to be a real fun experience playing this game for so many reasons. Firstly, the graphics in this game were amazing to see, whether it be just the cutscenes that we get or the gameplay itself. It was both astounding to look at. Not only that, but the attention to detail, again, I really enjoyed seeing. Not one location looking very similar to one another. I really enjoyed there was no deja vu when entering a new location. I think that was quite a cool thing to see. The gameplay mechanics in this game were very fun to play with. I would say my biggest struggle is the knife fight sequences. As for me, circle has always been my defense button, and so for that to change to square and X was something to overcome. It did take a while, but because the game gives you so many opportunities to do knife fights, you get better and better, and it became quite a fun mechanic to play with. I really enjoyed the intense situation that we are thrown into in the very first mission, really taking us into this world head first, and I think it was a great decision from the creators themselves, and I think it's the best introduction the Mafia franchise has ever done. I would put it up there. Another thing that was quite cool to see as well is the variety of missions that we get throughout this game, whether it be racing, whether it be blackmailing a particular person, saving someone from kidnappers, or breaking someone out of prison, or many other variety of missions. I just love that there's a variety in comparison to the previous game, which I felt was very repetitive, and something that the previous game really lacked was stealth. Whilst you would maybe be able to crouch and move around, it didn't feel like much of an option, whilst in this, not only is it an option, but it's a necessity. And not only can you just sneak past enemies, but you can take them out as well, whether it being strangling an enemy, or you're getting up and close with a knife, or even just throwing the knife at the enemy. I just love that we have a variety of options when it comes to stealth, and because that is an option, it makes shootouts very much more fun in comparison to the previous game, which made it feel like more of a chore, if anything. And then when it comes to the weapons and the way they deal with it in this game is something to applaud, as it's a very slow process, and it reminded me of old games. It gave me that nostalgic feel of when video games would start you off with a small weapon, and it's a slow but gradual process to get the better weapons. And I think this game did that amazingly well, and it takes us a while to get even the very first weapon, that being a revolver, in a third of the way through. And I think that makes getting weapons and getting into shootouts very entertaining, and I really enjoyed that process that they did. Now when it comes to the characters in the game, I'll be honest, even though they are just typical Mafia tropes, I enjoyed them nonetheless, and I think they really added to the gaming experience that they were creating. And then the story itself is nothing new to write home about, as it's just a very simplistic rags to riches story blended in with a vendetta plot and a forbidden love side plot. All of them on their own are nothing amazing, but to add them in together really was an intriguing element, and you really kept following the story even to the bitter end, which I will be honest and say was a bit predictable. Now saying that, the ending of this game was quite sad, but you can see it a mile away, but that did not ruin the enjoyment I got of playing / seeing it to the bitter end. But I will say I love the fact that we see the character Enzo. The way the game ends is eerily similar, if not completely similar, to how we start the game as well. And I just love that we have that element added into the last mission as playing as him. Now when it comes to critiques, I'll be honest, I think they're very minor, but I just feel like they need to be talked about. Firstly is the gaming mechanics when it comes to shooting. I personally found it to be quite difficult in comparison to the other Mafia games, and when you first start shooting, I felt it was very awkward and not the greatest. I personally took it as we're experiencing it very realistically of how this character is, as it's the first time he's ever shot a gun, so you kind of get that repetition. But the game itself still feels a bit difficult when shooting, and it's only up until the very bitter end that the shooting mechanics start to feel better, hence why I preferred the more stealthy route. My second critique is about the driving. I personally felt like the driving wasn't the easiest to do in this game. Now I do have a bias, as I'm terrible at driving in nearly every game I play, so there is that also to mention. I will say, in comparison to the other Mafia games, the driving in this is easier, especially when it comes to Mafia 1. When it comes to the racing in Mafia 1, it was just beyond difficult, whilst in this it felt easier. I really commend them on that. Overall, I will say I had a fun time playing this game. It was a real enjoyable experience. Admittedly, yes, this plot is simplistic, but it is the creative gameplay and the violence that really make it something special and stand out from the other Mafia games or games mimicking that style. And I feel like this game takes the whole franchise, which was always seen as a GTA clone, and makes it feel like something more than just that. Is this game good? I'm going to be honest and say it's very good. Rating wise, it's 8.5 out of 10. Now, would I replay it? Maybe not now, but later. Right now, I enjoyed playing the entire story as a whole, and I do have plenty of achievements left over, as well as collectibles, and I have no hesitation to go back and play that. Now, when it comes to recommendations, obviously I recommend the first 3 Mafia games. I feel like this is the best in comparison to the other 3, with Mafia 1 being a close second. But I still think they should be all played. Now, this franchise, like I said, has always been referred to as a GTA clone, but I feel like this game, if anything, is very similar to Red Dead Redemption, especially the second one because of the gang territories and turf wars and so forth. So definitely play that. And then lastly, because of how stealthy this game is and the great elements they've added in, it really reminded me of Sniper Elite and that franchise. Obviously, Sniper Elite has been going on for quite some time, and I feel like when it comes to stealth, that game takes it above and beyond, but it was interesting to see the similarities in certain parts. Those are my recommendations. This has been my review for Mafia Old Country. If you have enjoyed, please like and subscribe, but most importantly, thank you and have a nice day.